This is the final day to make an RRSP contribution for the 2022 tax year. For more on this, we're joined by John Klotz, a certified financial planner with the Investment Planning Council. John, thanks for taking the time on what I'm sure is a very busy day for you.
Absolutely. Hi, Lindsay. Thanks for having me on your show.
So since it's pretty late in the day, I'm going to start with this question. What happens if you miss the deadline for this tax year?
Yeah, well, as you know, the government gives you an extra 60 days to make your contribution to your RSP, and today's the deadline of March 1st. So obviously, if you don't make your contribution by today, you can't apply those RSP deductions towards your last year's income. So hence the deadline.
So do you have any specific questions really that are coming in today from your clients in terms of how to apply or how to file?
Yeah, so I mean, the thing is, it is obviously the last minute. And, the whole idea is a lot of people are saying, should I contribute to my RSP at this point? And it's a great question because, if you're in a relatively high tax bracket, an RSP makes a lot of sense. The tax brackets are operating up to 53%. So that creates an immediate tax deduction. And obviously, there are the parameters of getting that completed, and various institutions are open till later. But yes, it is challenging if you've left it till this last minute.
Probably pretty challenging, I can imagine. When it comes to, I think there can be some confusion sometimes between the difference in a RRSP and a TFSA. So how is investing in a TFSA maybe different?
Yeah, so the question we get, which is relative, should I invest in a TFSA or an RSP? And it really has to do with your tax bracket. So if you're in a low tax bracket, a TFSA probably makes more sense. Because an RSP, what it does is it creates a tax deduction, which brings your income down, and it accumulates tax deferred. And what happens is you're taxed on it later when you withdraw it. A tax-free savings account, however, does not reduce your income. So if you're in a low tax bracket, you don't need to reduce your income anymore. But the idea is the money grows tax-free such that when you withdraw it, there are zero taxation implications. And I think a lot of people need to get their head around, sometimes it makes more sense to buy a TFSA versus an RSP if they're in a lower tax bracket.
Okay, and just quickly, John, before I let you go, for those who are contributing to an RSP, how do you get the most bang for your buck?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you something. I think there's better ways to do it than doing a last-minute RSP contribution. The best thing you can do if you're contributing to RSPs probably is to invest monthly and do something called dollar cost averaging. The markets are quite volatile, so what you want to do is you want to take a specific amount of money, invest it every month, then you don't have to do your March 1 runaround. And by the way, when the market goes down, your monthly contributions buy more stocks or investments. And ultimately, when the market goes up, you're in a much better position. That's one way to mitigate the risk and enjoy higher returns.
Very interesting. Okay, John, well, thank you for taking the time to chat with us on such a busy day. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me on your show.
That's John Klotz, financial advisor.